Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're going to be playing a 2v2. I am going to be Royal Scythia, so they have these awesome mounted units. And actually, let's go ahead and before we get started, put this on, let's start on pause, because it's going to be a relatively quick battle, as is the nature of these mounted tribesmen. So anyways, I'm Royal Scythia. My ally here is going to be having the Scythian kingdom, so he has 3 of these Thracian cav, 3 more on that side. Then he has a huge line of these Thracian warriors and Thracian nobles on the flanks. And the rest of my forces are going to be split up into a lot of these archer units. So I mixed in some of the DLC guys that I wanted to show you. So these are going to be the women Amazonian riders. They're really cool. They have extra range. And I have some of the lighter armored ones and more heavily armored ones. So they're going to be taking up this flank, leading that assault. And then over on this side, I have 2 more positioned over here. So I have a lot of these Amazonian forces. Man, I just love these noble tribes, and I love having a battlefield where you can actually play with them. So that's what's going on here. I will note that I'm playing with some fellows from the Bear clan, so really fun playing with them. I can't remember each of their names right now, but you'll see at the end when we go into the credits, it'll show which one they are. But they're really good sports about this game, and we played a whole series of them. So anyways, one of the armies here is going to be Rome, and the other one is going to be Parthia, obviously, and they're formed pretty deep. So they decide to counter us by taking a lot of these sort of Balearic slingers, so 3 of them backed up by Velites, and then they have a lot of these armored legionnaires sort of as their second rank, and Hastati in the front. So he's kind of going for the triplex Achaeus, where he has line, and then rear reserve, except instead of having the hardy Triarii, he's using these really cheap spearmen. So this is a pretty good tactic. He's going for a lot of fodder units with some cheap spears to help hopefully counter my cavalry, which are going to come crashing in. Parthia, on the other hand, went for a lot of these actually, you know what, let's go ahead and put this on slow. Parthia went ahead and did, I think, 6 of these cataphracts. These are going to be worthy opponents to my own horsemen. You can watch them down the line there. And these guys heavily armored, but I'm going to have bigger numbers of them and more archers. So once I get these guys away from the pack, I can just whittle them down. He has 2 more Eastern cataphracts, and over on this front, armored horse archers. So they don't really have much to engage with us in the mounted division, which is never to be expected considering what I've brought. And then in the front right here, what he has is going to be a initial line of Eastern spearmen, and then back that up with Parthian foot archers. So what the opponents are doing to counter essentially my build is going to be to bring a lot of these fodder units and then a pretty good amount of archers, just trying to soak up my charges, waves against rock. There we go, we're moving forward. Aggressive charge on this side, and let's try and get as cinematic shots as possible, just because this is going to be a pretty fast battle with a lot of cavalry, and I love, you never really get that much big cavalry charges in most games, mostly because people limit the amount of cav they have, but hopefully we'll be able to change that a bit in this game, just considering the fact that I am, of course, the Scythian. So you can see them coming across the plain. Very intimidating sight indeed. Look at that. All of that is horsemen. And this is a small army. Historically, they would have been in the, tens of thousands. And just imagine Attila the Hun or any of the nomadic plains tribes coming to attack Rome. That must have been just a fearsome sight. And of course, as you guys know, many of their tactics were just to weary out their opponent, strike, withdraw, and just constantly pelt them. And what the Mongols were actually famous for was, attacking and then retreating and feigning a retreat. They were very good at this. The enemy would pursue, which is kind of what we're having over here. And then all of a sudden, they would reel about in a predetermined ambush site and just obliterate those forces. So opponents are deciding to shuffle their forces. They're figuring that they're going to have Rome to tackle the Odrysian kingdom, mostly because, of course, Rome is going to be good at close quarters combat, whereas Parthia is not. So it's best to match Rome and her, close quarter combat forces against the Odrysian foot soldiers, and instead send all these buffer units, these buffer spearmen, and then buffer cavalry to ward me off. So we're being a little wary at this point. I'm trying to just probe them out, and I'm waiting for the opportune moment to strike, but my guys are definitely bloodthirsty. Look at these ranks and ranks of horsemen. These guys are so awesome. I love what they did to this. Just look at the sheer number of forces we have. Awesome. And then here come my Amazonian riders. These guys are going to be swooping around the side, just trying to provoke those royal cataphracts. And they're already running in fear. So these DLC women are definitely instilling the fear in my opponents. But this is probably the good move. This is what a lot of opponents don't do properly is stay compact. This is what you have to do when you're fighting against these horse factions, is stay compact. Don't leave your tight-knit blob. Anyways, I do have some more archers over here, and we're going to be having a lot of back and forth on this front. So my guys, or my women, have extreme range. That's some of their stat bonuses. So you can see them starting to pick off some of the opponents at a distance that have better range but not very good stats when it comes to melee. That's fine. I'm not going to be engaging in melee. They're mostly here just to draw fire from the opponent, and you can see I was able to splatter the ground with some blood, but no damage yet. And here Rome is using his fodder spearmen to just try and chase off our guys. But if they get too exposed, they're gonna expose themselves for a strike from my step armored lancers, and these guys will easily punch through these cheap swordsmen. So here we go. We're gonna be coming into this main assault. Thracian nobles are very good for this kind of action. However, they're going to get countercharged by some Roman cav. That's a very good use of Roman cav, and let's look all down the line. The Romans are countercharging, trying to soak up these nobles. The nobles will last for a pretty good amount of time, but they're robbed of their inertia a bit. Let's go and slow-mo this for a little bit. They're robbed of their inertia. You saw they lost 30 of their men right there, so that's going to be very bad for us. And they're already choked up, and Rome has a huge... Just look at how he's deployed here. This is just beautiful deployment of the Roman forces. Very staggered with Balearic slingers, all sorts of reinforcements in the back. Over on this flank, however, any of our forces, you know, who would have actually picked these guys apart, they're going to form up into squares, so that's very good. On the other hand here, I'm going to be swooping into this side, chasing off my opponents. Meanwhile, my Scythian women are going to be targeting these blobs, so he's going to be losing more and more men on this side, and we're waiting for a chance to slip through here and charge the backs. This is a very good target. Parthia is going to realize the danger, and he's going to send over all his horsemen, or a good amount of them, to reinforce, so that's a good move. But mostly that flank is just waiting for a big crash. The tide is going to come in on that side for sure. It's just a matter of time. Anyways, I got charged here by some Praetorian cav trying to hold us down, and then they got their infantry into the mix. This is a good way to try and pick us off. We're going to disengage real quick and just continue to pull back. So the Roman cav that chases us is going to be at a disadvantage because these guys can, of course, shoot behind them. And so if he gets too close, I'll be able to pick them off, and the further they get away from their base of support, the more I'll be able to countercharge. Here my Scythian women are going to get some more shots off, I believe. Oh, it looks like they're not getting a Parthian shot. Anyways, I thought they would. But I'm continuing to bait him away, pull him away. These guys were able to disengage, and the Praetorian cav are going to be engaging with these Thracian horsemen. So it'll be sort of an even fight, but in the meantime, I'm coming in with my additional archer fire from, I think, these noblemen are going to turn around. And then let's watch this flank. These cavalry are going to disengage, and they're going to try and swoop in and just smash into the backs of these forces. And you can see the nobles are already starting to shatter, so it's going to be my time to shine. And who best to do this but my just awesome cavalry. So here they go, riding into this battle. This is an epic screenshot right here. So I spotted my gap. I'm going to be pushing right through here, and I'm going to make a sort of a beeline right through this mess. I've distracted enough of his cataphracts so I can disengage. Over here, I'm going to collapse in on his Praetorian cav. I just want to get them tangled, and I'm basically just trying to hold up as many of his forces here as possible, countercharging with armored lancers, and I'm just trying to intercept his cav before they can knock out these forces. But here we go, I'm pushing around the side. I'm just bypassing his whole spear front. He knows it, so he's going to redeploy. But look at this. I have all of these Amazonian riders coming over here, and they're going to unleash on this side. So there we go. I guess they are getting some shots off in the distance. Sorry we're not watching this on normal mode, but there's just too much to absorb. I'll put it on play once we're engaged in the action and the decisive blows have been dealt. But I'm targeting his cataphract specifically. And here we go. I'm going to see my my gap. And so I'm going to seize the moment, charge through here. I did engage with one of his armored legionnaires with my step noble lancers. These guys are extremely good on the charge, so I'll be making mincemeat of them, plus these Thracian nobles. I charge in through here. I was going to feint and attack on the Parthian swordsmen. These guys were braced. I'm going to go ahead and start landing these hammer and anvil strikes right into the back of this right here. So let's put this on play, or yeah, play just for the charge. So you can see just how quick this action is going. So there we go. We're breaking through this front. The Thracian nobles are pushing through there, and you can just see how quickly this is going, so we're going to have to put this on slow-mo. Anyways, I charge through here, and I'm dragging through these legionnaires. I'm just trying to disengage. This charge of the Thracian Royal Cavalry was excellent, breaking through this force here, and the Thracian foot soldiers are just barely hanging in there. Meanwhile, in this position, I've got a Eastern Cataphract unit, 80 of them chasing Scythian noblewoman. And that's he decides to stop that chase because A, he's not going to catch up, B, it's a waste for him to do that. And over here I'm likewise retreating, but I'm going to charge into the spearmen. Over on this front, I have engaged with his forces here, his armored horse archers, but I have quick, huge number advantage against him. Over here, my cavalry position on this front are exchanging with him, but look at this. Oh man, this game is just full of awesome screenshots. That horse was headshotted. He's going to be returning fire with his big blob of Parthian foot archers held behind, look at this, the screen of shield. So that's a good move, but I'm just going to go and skirt around it. I'm going to go ahead and engage his cavalry here. Pincer movement on both sides with my Scythian noblewoman pushing through here. So I'm going to catch these guys, and I'm just going to all but bypass this. It was a pretty big massacre site for my forces. And his guys are going to be doing all they can to just pick off my guys at a distance as they ride by. So anytime I stand still, I'm going to get shot at. But he's out of position right here, and we're continuing to push through. The enemy cataphracts were able to countercharge and clean up a bit of this mess. However, in doing so, look at this. They've left a gap open. Oh man, this is going to be epic. Let's watch this. Charge all through the front, so they're going to take these spearmen head on. They don't really care. They're weak enough troops, those spearmen, that we can take them. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the gap with some of my own cavalry here, and these guys want to kill, so they're going to get countercharged by some cataphracts. Let's watch this engagement. I'm not quite sure who fares best there. Looks like kind of even. The rest of my guys were engaged here that caught up on his Parthian swordsman, so I'm going to be trying to disengage and charging through here. However, my guys are continuing to wheel about. I got his guys here a little bit beaten up. His cataphracts are still over here, unengaged. I'm going to come back and try and pick them off. Over here, my steppe noble lancers are waiting for the perfect moment to strike, so these Thracian nobles are routing, so I'm going to come in here, and I think I'm going to disengage and charge back here. Anyways, this massive melee brawl is ongoing. My guys are engaged here in melee. They're pretty decent in melee. They're going to hold 2 units stationary and allow for these Thracian warriors to come into the mix and take over the fight there. Over on this front, I'm continuing to just try and intercept his armored horse archers, and here come my Scythian women once more. Let's put this on play. I think we've seen enough of the strategy. Let's just enjoy this battle. So they're getting some shots on into the rear of those cataphracts, and they're just going to continue to wheel about. So it's just a huge mess of cavalry all around this. Let's go ahead and just entertain the notion of look at the minimap. Really chaotic battle, but mostly I'm just sweeping around the outskirts. You can see how everything is coming in all these positions. I'm picking off the stragglers essentially. Over here, charging into these armored legionnaires with almost a full noble lancer unit. Just cracking skulls everywhere. These guys are so badass. I love them. So yeah, his guys are starting to get exposed, and the beefy core of his combined force of slingers and archers is still alive. They're doing a lot of damage to our forces, but it's only going to be a matter of time that these guys can stand up. Let's go ahead and zoom out and see just what is coming in at them. Boom! Right from the back, I exploited this gap. And there you go. These are actually the Amazonian women coming in. So here comes some DLC, and they're going to say, stats be damned. We're just going to come in and just murder these men, and they're still getting some shots off, continuing to just fire into the backs of those forces there, and they're going to do some cleaning up action. It's going to take some more cataphracts to just engage with these women. They're still alive. Meanwhile, we're engaged on all fronts. Some of my archers are here positioned, and I'm coming back in with some more Amazonian riders, getting some shots off on his guys here. They're biting the dust. Horses going down left and right. My guys in the distance. His forces, shooting this way, I'm shooting at him. It's just utter chaos all around. But as I said, I'm starting to pick off the forces at the extremity, and they're forced back into the interior. And these various groups of horsemen who are still alive, it's not going to be long for them to get chipped away from my guys in the distance. So they're starting to run, and there's a lot more guys running where that came from. In the center, continuing to collapse on their forces. Some of the legionnaires are still alive, but at least we have the Thracian infantry coming in. These guys are still alive, and these are the meaty troops who really need to stick against the Romans. Over here I continue to collapse. I'm kind of rallying my various forces from the extremities and just picking off any unit that tries to stand up. So yeah, that's kind of how you got to do it. And then my archers are going to be continuing to go around the flanks and just shoot various other forces. These guys are roving murder bands, continuing to pick off some of the archers who were over here. They were trying to hold their own, but look at that one volley. My archers just do a tremendous amount of damage. Another volley coming in, it's going to pick off another about a half dozen men. He's still getting some shots off against my noble riders. Most of those guys are going to just knock those arrows away. They don't really care with their armor. And there we go, they're routing. So here comes a massive charge down the center from all our remaining horsemen. That, my friends, is an epic battle. So here we go, the noble horsemen on the battlefield, still alive, and look at this just massacre on all fronts. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's go ahead and end the replay and look at some of the names. So there we go, there are all the bear troopers that I played with. So Blackjack was on my team. He got actually a lot of kills. Let's look at his stats. So really, he did a lot of good work with his Thracian Royal Cav. Those are beefy units. And then his Thracian nobles did a good amount of damage as well. From my own troops, look at this. The Scythian noblewoman did tremendous amounts of damage, mostly in running down enemy forces once they got into the thick of it. But the Scythian Royal Horse really cleaned up against legionnaires. They can definitely take it to them as long as you can sort of draw them out from the mess in the center. Cataphracts did not do as well as they should have. The Parthian foot archers were mostly run down. Some of them got off some good volleys. Eastern spearmen are really crap, especially when going against the quality of cavalry we have. We can take them head on. So those were mostly fodder units, and they were fodder. They weren't enough to buy enough time for opponents. And Rome did pretty well overall, staggered kills. Mostly the armored legionnaires, I think, got their kills beating the Thracian troops, and the Praetorian Cav definitely got some good kills rear charging the Thracian forces. But for the most part, you can see these cheap units back here, the Hessadi, and these guys were all picked apart by my archers or my other roaming groups of cavalry. Overall, really cool battle. We did a couple more of these, so I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll be playing some more battles with these guys from the Bear Clan. Again, if you guys are watching this, thanks so much for the battles. I really enjoyed. And yeah, we're going to have a couple more of these fights. See you guys next time.